This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
We're kicking off hour 2 Money Moves here on VSiN, the sports betting network. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you for the next hour. We will close out the show today with our best bets for the weekend. We've got lots of conference championship games to discuss. 4 on deck today, 5 tomorrow. We've got opinions and bets on just about all of them. I think we have our bases covered on almost every conference championship game.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, you're the one that said that you had some hot takes that you were ready to go with. So.
I mean, I don't know if they're hot takes, but I am opinionated.
Yes.
So we can put it that way.
You're ready to fire on every game. And I think you told me the one that you were feeling the strongest about was Conference USA.
Wow. The one league, I said, I don't know. That is the one that I wasn't particularly interested in, or at least couldn't find good bang for my buck type value. But we'll get to those games coming up in just a little bit. We'll also
did you hear that sound? That's the sound of everybody turning off VSiN because they were waiting for the Conference USA breakdown.
I know. They really needed it. Listen, you want some American Conference? We already talked plenty of the Mountain West. You want some Big 12? I got you.
I mean, look, it's a playoff game in the American today.
It is.
It's for all intents and purposes, we have a playoff game.
It's a play-in game.
Yeah.
You know, and it's could be a really good one and a high-scoring one if you look at the total. But before we do that, I did also want to mention we got Zach Cohen coming up in just a little bit, VSiN.com senior editor, and he's going to break down the NBA card today. There is a lot to get to in the NBA, not just the fact that LeBron James' streak finally came to an end, although that's all anybody I feel like is talking about today.
It's very true.
The 10-point streak ended.
But, I think because Zach's coming up, I wanted to give our audience a glimpse of some of the analysis that you'll get from Zach on Harvard Handicappers. So if we could, he's going to be with us in about 15 minutes, but if you've ever missed out on Harvard Handicappers, let's do a little rewind and see what exactly you get every time you tune in.
So I'll take a chance on Brooklyn plus 8.5 at minus 115. It's disgusting. Like you might feel terrible about this right away. It's going to be like eating like drunk McDonald's or something.
Wait, drunk McDonald's is terrible?
That is the take.
That's an awful comp.
That's the take. By the way, the Nets covered that game, so that's what you're getting on Harvard Handicappers.
You asked me in a commercial break without telling me what it was related to.
Okay.
You just said, Stormy, what's the best thing to eat when you're drunk? What are your top 3 drunk foods? Go. And it took me a second, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, a McDonald's cheeseburger. That was the thing. You said, okay, that answers my question.
Yep.
That is the answer, right?
I don't know if it's a top one, but it's perfectly fine for a night.
It's not disgusting. That doesn't make you feel. I mean, you might feel disgusting the next day, but going down, you feel awesome.
Right. I mean,
it tastes delightful.
I think you would be a proponent of, for those who are not out here in Las Vegas or have not been out here in Las Vegas, I am a proponent of late night Robertos after a night of drinking. I think many people are. But to throw that out there, Zach was roundly mocked in the Harvard Handicappers group chat, rightfully so. And if you wanted to mock him to his face when he joins us here in a few minutes, I would be down with that as well.
I think I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah.
Was there any NBA top of mind for you that you wanted to do before we get to him, or you want to go straight to college hoops here?
No, I mean, we get some college hoops. NBA tonight, last night, thank goodness for Austin Reeves. We should point that out. I mean, you mentioned it in passing, the fact that LeBron. I texted, we were talking about this, me, you, and Justin, we have our group chat. Did you see how LeBron did not get the 10 points last night?
Yes, had the opportunity to take the shot. But I think, okay, so the fact that he dishes it out and Rui Hachimura ends up getting the shot, yes, I think is a good recipe for what's to come, knowing that Luka is the focal point of the Lakers now and moving forward, right? That he is okay being able to be the assist man facilitator in key moments instead of having to be the guy.
I mean, I think that if you go back in history, LeBron's actually always been that. It's actually been one of the criticisms of LeBron. You don't have the killer mentality that MJ does, because there's been many moments where he's actually passed a potential game-winning shot to the wide open guy, right, the higher probability shot, instead of just jacking up a contested jumper, because many think that's killer instinct versus, giving my team the best shot to win a game. So I think you're fine. And I think what you're hitting on here, look, I will be adamant. I do think that LeBron, there are still good things to come for LeBron. This is his training camp. He is somewhat old. He did not practice. He has been injured in his lower body. It has not looked great. Barely got 10 points last time out when they got smoked by the Suns. Obviously didn't get it last night. I still think there's something there. But even if we're in that universe where he just doesn't have much to offer from a scoring standpoint, the dude's so smart and is such a good passer and facilitator. He's going to be able to contribute, to your point. And I will note one thing. So last night, outside of this, did you see the other big performance? Austin Reeves, 44 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds. That was the one winner last night for me, was Reeves over points and assists. Last night, it was 36.5. Looks like LeBron's not going to play tonight against the Celtics. Points and assists up to 40.5 for Austin Reeves. I still think you might be able to play that over.
Okay.
Everything runs through him, man. Everything. When Luka's not out there, he is Diet Luka. He's Timu Luka. They're both fair-skinned white boys who can go out there and move and ball. And I think that at 40.5, when every possession when he's on the floor is going to be with the ball in his hands, you can make the argument 40.5 is pretty light.
And for anyone who missed it, Luka out right now, back home in Slovenia for the birth of his second child. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. So
basketball.
Worth noting, but the Lakers, as a 2.5-point dog, end up winning that game by 3 at the end.
MJ wouldn't have been there.
For college basketball today, not a huge slate, not a bunch of ranked-on-ranked games. We do have one big one, number 11 Gonzaga at number 18 Kentucky. We have shared our fair share of complaints for what Kentucky has been when they've been tested against good opponents so far this year.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know, man. I've never seen anything like this before.
I've never seen you so low. And they are 5.5-point dogs in this one, total 160.5.
And I don't think we're going to get any root from this dog today, baby. A little beat up, Kentucky is, and I think that's why. So you mentioned, what? Do you have the Ken Pom projection in front of you? Because it's a 1-point win for Kentucky. Is that what it was?
It's a 1-point win for Gonzaga 78-77.
But the market's up to like 5. Part of it is this injury situation for Kentucky. Jalen Lowe, we'll see if he's going to end up playing here today. It sounds like maybe he's active. It's like an 8-point-per-game scorer for Kentucky. Just another piece in this backcourt that you would need. Mo Diabate's not going to play, though. He has been injured, and he is not going to be available. So that's going to be, I think, a pretty big blow, as he has been out for a while now. And I think that when you look at Kentucky, that's been part of the reason why they have struggled the way they have. I think Graham Ike is a little banged up, but it sounds like if you read some of the stuff for Gonzaga that he's going to be out there. Don't take that 100% of the way. But for Gonzaga, after about a week off or so, to kind of get your legs back underneath you after getting housed by Michigan, everybody did, and now to go into a somewhat away spot to take on a Kentucky team that's a little shorthanded and has been at the short end of the stick with a couple of these results. I think that you feel pretty good for Gonzaga to come in here and potentially get this done today against the Wildcats. Not something crazy. This also is a good example. Projections, statistical projections, things like that. Look, they're all trying to figure these teams out, and injuries are hard to factor in. It's why I think like Ken Pom at times is a little slow on the catch up with some of these injuries. The market is a little bit more true with where you're at, so I think this is probably closer to where this should be. But even then, I think it's a situation for Gonzaga to maybe come in here and get it done against this Kentucky team that's not going to turn you over, that doesn't get to the free throw line very often, that doesn't shoot the ball particularly well, and I think you can get it done.
Yeah, and you mentioned that loss for the Zags to Michigan. They, before that, had a statement win against Alabama. They followed it up with a 39-point win over Maryland. All 7 of the Zags' wins this season have come by double digits. They were looking like one of the best teams in the country before that loss, which I think was pretty shocking on a lot of notes, and in a position tonight at Rupp Arena where they probably want to show their best effort as well. So while I mentioned it's not a huge, great card today, we've got a lot of fun action coming up this weekend. What are some of the games that caught your eye early?
Tomorrow is very exciting.
Yes.
Hard not to start immediately in the morning. Iowa State and Purdue. This is also injury news. I haven't looked up to see if whether or not Tamin Lipsey is going to play here for Iowa State. He has been out of the lineup. He's been injured. So keep an eye on that, whether or not he's going to be available. But really interested to watch this. Purdue, I think, is a team that could probably get this done here against the Cyclones. Iowa State loves to beat up on these bad teams, coming off of a beatdown of Alcorn State where they beat them 132-68. But I don't really trust them offensively in some of these half-court settings. I think they're a team that really likes to, as we know, force turnovers, get out and run, get it done. And I think that Purdue, with their backcourt, how strong they are, the ability to handle a press, the ability to handle defense that leads the country right now in turnover rate, I think is really going to work in their favor. I know the projection here was about a 4-point win, a 5-point win, and I think that's exactly where we're at with the market for tomorrow.
5.5, I see at DraftKings.
I think there's a couple 4.5s out there. I'd like 4.5 with Purdue tomorrow in the morning. I think they're going to be in a pretty good spot here to get this done against Iowa State.
Same time tip-off, so that's 1v10. At the same time, we got number 4 Duke at number 7 Michigan State. Basically a coin flip, but Sparty laying 1.5 at home, total 138.5.
I mean, I'm kind of tempted to go with Duke here.
So I just have a speech impediment there. Did you hear that?
No, I did not.
138. Sorry, go ahead.
But I'm kind of tempted to go with Duke here. We'll see what the market eventually does. And this is totally based on just kind of one data point, so it's somewhat unfair, which is why I don't have a lot of confidence. We talked the night when they were going to go take on Florida about how good that front court is for Florida and what a test this would be for Cameron Boozer. And he went out there and he had 29 points. He pulled in 6 rebounds. He was absolutely tremendous, had 2 assists as well. And now he's going to go up, and you could argue Michigan State, hey, that front court's going to be a pretty good test for him. Well, is it? I don't know if it is. I mean, Cam Boozer, I think, passed that test. And I think Duke, I like a lot of what they're doing. It's not that Tom Izzo's a bad coach, but I like a lot of what Shire's got rolling here. He's a great coach. They're a good defensive team. They're going to be able to rebound. Boozer's going to be able to deal with that size up front. I lean a little bit here toward Duke being able to get this done out there against Michigan State out there in East Lansing.
Perfect 9-0 to start the season, including 3 top 25 wins already under their belt. One more last 60 seconds here. 6v22, Louisville at Indiana, spread 5.5.
I think this is going to be pretty good, too. So, Indiana, that same night, I think it was the same night, they go out and congrats to Nico Medved, who hands Indiana their first loss of the season. Minnesota gets it done despite being really shorthanded. And the one thing that really stuck out was Minnesota killed them on the glass. And Indiana, very quietly, as the sample size is growing, they're having some trouble on the glass. They're not generating second chance opportunities. They're pretty middle of the pack when it comes to getting rebounds. And this is a Louisville team that's top 50 in both offensive and defensive rebounding rate. So if you're going to give up these second chance opportunities, be able to allow Louisville to kick it out to these open shooters. They take a ton of threes. I think Louisville can make this losing streak last out to 2 games here for Indiana.
Good reminder, too, as you're looking ahead to those games tomorrow, if you go to vsin.com, you have the Bracco betting splits available for you to go through and see where the handle and ticket percentage is going. Bracco's also giving new depositors right now a 50% purchase bonus when you use our code VSIN, VSIN, at sign up. Go to playbracco.com today. Again, code VSIN at playbracco.com.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
Conference Champ Week getting underway this week, and I know you guys are going to be trying to compete with us to see who has the best bet, but you can actually compete with our own Mike Somich this week in a competition put on by First Bet. We've got a 5-race showdown on Saturday, December 6th, talking H. Allen Jerkins at Gulfstream and 4 graded stakes at Aqueduct, including the G2 Cigar Mile. Just submit $2 win place mythical picks. Try to end the day with more money than Mike, and you can win big. Anyone who does will split the $5,000 grand prize credited directly to your First Bet account. Contest opened yesterday. Get in there right now while you can. First.com/VSIN. That's the number one ST.com/VSIN. Everything's free to enter. You can get some serious bragging rights against Mike in money. I think that's more important because you can try to get on social media and tweet at us whenever you have a better play than us or whatever it is. But this time you can actually cash in. You can physically cash in.
It's worth it. Try it out. Check it out now. Pride is very much more important than money.
And we have a handful of show bets. I don't think we have any that are directly head-to-head so far in Conference Champ Week, although...
Well, maybe I'm saving one.
Are you? Oh, you're going to lay it with Texas Tech and make me want to die, aren't you?
No, but now I am.
Okay.
It wasn't on my radar, but now it makes some sense.
We'll get to that game in a moment. You were just looking up at the screen, and we saw yet a deeper line move on this Mountain West title game with Boise State.
Yeah, Boise State's up to 6 here at Circa.
Wow.
I mean, again, I think, as Mike said, if you wanted to knock it down to 10... I think maybe 7. Either way, it just doesn't make sense. And I know we've covered this a lot, but I think of the lines, this is the more fascinating story of where this ultimately goes. So, yeah, the lone 6 on the board right now. And we will see if that continues to climb. Again, I will venture a guess. So kickoff is tonight at 5 o'clock. I'll say closing numbers like 6.5.
I would agree with that. Yeah. I think that's probably where we end up. Also, another line move that we've been monitoring is in JMU hosting Troy. And again, all 4 of the conference title games tonight are on home fields. The ones that you'll see tomorrow are on neutral sites. But this one is out there in Harrisonburg, Virginia. We saw JMU open up 20.5-point favorites. Now it's largely 23.5, but we're seeing some 24s pop. At least I know here at Superbook, at South Point, all at that flat 24. And I know it's unique to see such a large spread in a conference title game. Kind of a bummer in this one for anybody who has followed college football in a little bit of this league. ODU is
Old
very
dirty U.
clearly the second best team in this conference, but they are in the same division as JMU. So they do not get to play. I mean, they legitimately housed Troy 33-0 very recently, but they don't get to play in this game. So JMU with a final opportunity for one more data point to the College Football Playoff Selection Committee. They need to, or at least hope to, win this game, win it big, and have Duke get the upset against Virginia tomorrow to be able to potentially get that fifth conference championship bid.
Vandy's not playing today? Interesting.
They tried. They were trying. Diego Pavia was doing everything in his power to, I mean, even trying to get Trump to allow them to extend the playoff or change the playoff, all of that stuff.
Our wonderful president's a little busy today. But I would say that I can understand if you wanted to lay this under 24. I'm always kind of hesitant to, as I always like to say, just because you have to or you want to doesn't mean you're going to sort of situation. But at the very least, you're in a scenario in which I'm sure James Madison would feel if they had to or if they could that they would continue to operate their offense. So I think it makes a lot of sense that you would come in here and lay a number underneath that somewhat key number of 24 here at this point for JMU. And they're capable of doing it. So I'm not going to be on it. I'm going to play a little Troy money line. But no, I think James Madison, the side, can understand it. They have the motivation. I'll sit back and watch. Because, you know, to the point that we've discussed, I don't think that this is win and get in for JMU.
It's not.
Because there is a reality, even if Duke wins, that the committee says, oh, a win over Virginia is good enough to put Duke ahead of James Madison. Just because Duke is not ranked does not mean that JMU, with like a 10-point win over Troy, falls out of the top 25 and Duke takes their place.
Or as you've noted, because we don't know how the committee views a UNLV, for example, if they were to get the upset against Boise State and just the brand power behind that and Dan Mullen and all of that if they end up leapfrogging.
To your point.
That's why I think that the margin of victory here is at least important.
And I don't think they're going to be in this position, but let's just go down this path. If UNLV's in position to put it on Boise, they will absolutely do it. I mean, these teams like UNLV, like Boise, or excuse me, like JMU, that are on the fringes, and who knows? Like, again, I don't know the committee will do this. You had pointed this out. I did not notice it when we were post-college football playoff rankings, that oddly enough, UNLV's odds went from 50-1 to 30-1 to make the college football playoff. We had discussed this scenario before the odds shift, so I guess we were on to something when we were talking about that scenario. But an 11-2 UNLV with a blowout of Boise that is in a vengeance of a loss earlier in the season, it's not the craziest thing in the world to think that they would leapfrog JMU.
Yeah. That said, I did lay 22.5 earlier this week. We gave that out on, I think, Monday or Tuesday. JMU 5th in FBS total defense, 10th in scoring defense. They give up just 16 points per game. They're beating teams this year by an average of 27 points per game. We saw what they did to close out the regular season against Coastal Carolina. The minute Coastal had a little bit of air to breathe, JMU was like, nope, I'm done, and just reeled off 39 straight points after that. So I'm on the JMU side of this one. They got to win big to have even the slimmest shot at getting that position. Meanwhile, we do have, as we mentioned last segment, a play-in game for all intents and purposes for the college football playoff. The winner of the American Conference will be getting in between North Texas and Tulane. Even though both Eric Morris and John Sumrall have already been introduced at their new programs, they will still be coaching this game and any potential playoff game after that. Tulane, despite being the higher-ranked team by the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, is actually a home dog in this spot at Yulman Stadium. They was a full 3, now getting just 2.5, so some people ultimately going with the green wave here. High total as well, sitting 66.5, 67.
So you're the one that had a strong take on this. I have a mild take, so I would love to hear your thoughts.
So I mean, gut leans North Texas, but instead,
love a good gut lean.
I think the over 33.5 for the team total on the Mean Green is the way I would go here. It's a little bit juiced, minus 125. They are the highest scoring team in all of college football. Average just shy of 47 points per game. They've put up 50-plus in 5 of their last 6, put up more than 34 in all but 2 games for the entirety of the season. Tulane's points per game allowed, I think, looks better than it actually is because of the opponents they've played the last few weeks. It's Charlotte, it's Temple, it's FAU. You have an extremely explosive offense that's about to come at you. Drew Messemaker airs it out, most passing yards in all of college football, 16 touchdowns, just 1 pick, his last 6 games overall. Passing at a 70% clip, taking on a Tulane defense that gives up the 18th most pass yards allowed in the sport. I feel like that's going to be an advantage for North Texas here.
Would you say he makes a mess of opposing secondaries? Huh? Yeah, that's pretty good. My gut lean would be Tulane, not anything crazy. Maybe for like some, hey, I'm sitting down and watching these games tonight, we'll have something on the green wave. My thing is, so of like the weaknesses, if you look at these on paper, The one thing that sticks out is North Texas has the biggest weakness of all of the teams, which is their run defense is abysmal. They're 131st in the country in opponent expected points added per rush. Tulane's defense is not great, but at the very least, they're top 70 in both pass and run defense if you split them up. So, like, they're at least can hold their own in certain instances. And while Tulane doesn't run the ball well, if North Texas is so bad that they offer a top 30 passing offense, the ability to have balance and work off play action and do those things, I could see a scenario in which Tulane pulls this off as a short underdog. So it was a lean for me, nothing crazy, but to your point, there's a lot of single digits when you look at the rankings for North Texas's offense.
And I think, though, to your point, that's probably in part at least why Tulane has been bet down to this point.
Yeah, you take 3 every day, I think, in this spot.
Yes, and so I didn't have an interest in the spread. That's why I went with the team total for North Texas. But because you mentioned the North Texas run defense issues, a bet I did fire on in this game as well was actually Tulane quarterback Jake Retzlaff to have 40-plus rush yards at plus 110. He hasn't had to do much quarterback run, if any, the last 3 games. But this is a spot with a chance for the CFP on the line. You're going to be pulling out all the stops. You just mentioned the run game issues that they have on defense, 8th most rush yards per game in all of college football. And Retzlaff specifically went over this number in 7 of his first 9 games of the season. Hasn't had a single pop play the last 3 weeks. If there was a time to do it, it's now. And I think this sets up really well for him to get mobile and have some of those explosive runs.
All right. Makes sense. Let's say, who cares, like North Texas, Tulane, they make it in. Did they lose by 30 points?
It's not going to be good.
Right? I mean, what's the gap between this and whoever gets it? I mean, in all honesty, if you get that, I think it'll be the 12. I mean, I guess it depends on whether or not James Madison makes it in.
If Virginia wins, then they're going to be.
So this would not be the lowest. Either way, this wouldn't be the lowest seeded team, would it? I think it would be either Duke or James Madison, would it not be?
If Duke wins, yes.
Yeah, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But if all favorites play out and Virginia wins the ACC like they're supposed to, and like, quite frankly, I think that they will, then yes, then this game would be the 12 seed.
Okay. You do wonder if the way that sets up, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to be what would that be, the 5 seed?
So could that...
I mean,
Georgia?
Either way, God forbid, Texas Tech loses and slips to 5.
Is it who is ranked? Who's ranked 5th right now?
I think it's Oregon.
Oregon. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So whoever,
that wouldn't be a friendly matchup.
If you slip out of that top 4, though, if you're one of those buys, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to be that 5 seed right now.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah.
You're kind of pumped if you're in that position. And I mean, Ole Miss at 6 even. So that next spot, whoever wins the ACC, you feel like that's a ripe for the taking as well.
You feel great, just like you do when you eat McDonald's late at night.
Oh, it's true. I actually just showed JVT moments ago a video of me drunk eating a double cheeseburger. How Zach Cohen doesn't agree with that is beyond me, but he does have some NBA takes I'm on board with. We'll get onto that and more next.
She was housing that burger.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So I'll take a chance on Brooklyn plus 8.5 at minus 115. It's disgusting. Like you might feel terrible about this right away. It's going to be like eating like drunk McDonald's or something.
I don't know. Zach Cohen is refuting the video evidence that he has said that eating McDonald's drunk late at night is disgusting. He joins us on the Progressive Guest Line. Zach, how do you defend yourself?
I stand by it. I think it's delicious, but you are going to feel disgusting eating it. That's a fact. Like, you're going to feel awful about it the next morning.
Now, okay, hold on. I'm going to take over the segment. Usually Stormy is our lead, but I'm going to take this over for now. Justin, I believe we have this. This is video evidence that late-night McDonald's is, in fact, enjoyable. Can we roll this tape, if we could, please? We don't need any sound. Oh, okay, so let's roll this tape. We have video evidence of somebody enjoying late-night McDonald's. Please, I'll talk over it. We can roll it if we've got it. Oh, give us 1 second. I was told it was ready. Yeah. Come on now.
It's going to be good,
it's going to taste good. It's just you're not going to feel good.
But so here's the thing. Yeah, you said you're not going to feel good immediately, and that's where you're wrong. You feel great immediately. You're like, why is this the best thing that's ever hit my lips in my entire life? And then, yeah, maybe you have a little tummy rumble the next day, but it's worth it for the glory that is the double cheat. No pickles.
It's all right.
At Mickey D's. That said,
the setup is like failed. That's okay.
You did cash the bet, though, which leads us to the NBA card today, and hopefully we can find a few more winners on the docket. And the Los Angeles Lakers are on the second half of a back-to-back after last night, getting the win without Luka. And I know we were talking about it in the break. LeBron did have the game-winning assist, even though he didn't keep the streak alive. They've got the Celtics, though, today. What are you looking at here?
I have 2 plays in this game. So one of them is a player prop for Jordan Walsh to finish with over 5.5 rebounds. That's out there at plus money odds. He has been doing a really good job on the glass over the last couple of games. 6+ rebounds in 10 of the last 13. And I also have Boston parlayed money line with Detroit money line against Portland. And that's a Blazers team that is playing without Drew Holiday. Has been competitive lately, but it's their 3rd game in 4 nights. I do think Detroit will take care of business at home. So I took that at minus 114.
Not one of your plays, but I mentioned this. So yesterday, I was on Austin Reeves over that 36.5 points and assists. He clears it with ease. He has 44 points with those, I think it was, 10 assists or whatever it was. Tonight, his points and assists is up to 40 now, considering LeBron's not going to be out there and Luka. Is that too short of a number still for Reeves? I mean, in the 4 games without Luka on the floor, he is blown by this number.
Yeah, I actually think I'm going to end up adding that tonight. I just have so many plays, like it's embarrassing. I think I have like at least 1 play for every single game that's happening tonight. But I do think that Reeves is going to have a huge game. Like I talked about it yesterday with you on the pod. Like when Reeves plays without Luka, I believe he's averaging like 55 points and assists. So now that LeBron's not going to be playing, that's another player that's not going to have the ball in his hands. We're probably going to see a big game out of Reeves tonight. It's like the one thing that scares me about the Celtics money line play is that, Reeves has just been so good.
One thing that scares me is betting on the Charlotte Hornets. We have a futures play that's in the balance.
Big news today.
Big news? What's that?
Brandon Miller is active. He's going to play today. Let's do this thing.
On that note, I'm still very hesitant about anything Charlotte Hornets related, but talk me into it today against the Raptors.
Yeah, so I mean, this Charlotte team has played Toronto really well this season. They have 1 win against them when they played in Charlotte. They had a 2-point loss the last time they played in Toronto, which was only a few weeks ago. This Raptors team under Darko Rajakovic is 12-20 against the spread and 4-28 straight up when facing teams that out-rebound opponents by 3+. And this Charlotte team is 3rd in the league this year in rebound rate. So I think that the Hornets are going to be able to get to them on the glass. And then obviously getting Brandon Miller back is going to be big for them offensively. And then this is also kind of a letdown spot. Like after last night's game against Los Angeles, a tough emotional loss at home last night, having to turn around and play a team like Charlotte might be a little bit difficult. And yeah, I just think this is going to be a very close game. I actually think it's a game that, the Hornets might end up winning.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the battle in Florida. Heat and Magic, they'll go at it. And the Heat have been a surprisingly over team. Offenses look great. What are we doing with this one? Are we playing over or are we playing under?
I took the over in this game. Like I wrote it in my column at vsin.com. It looks like there's a lot of public money on the under, but the number keeps going up. So there's reverse line movement to the over. And I do think this is a game where like it might seem like the Heat and the Magic are 2 very good defensive teams, and they can be, but they kind of counteract that by being, 2 teams that play very up tempo. I mean, Miami's number 1 in the league in pace this year. Orlando's playing a lot faster with Desmond Bane in the mix. They're number 12 and playing a little bit faster without Paolo Banchero. I just think that the story of this game is going to be both teams getting up the court fast. And while there might be some stops, there might be some inefficiencies along the way, I do think that the amount of possessions we'll see in this game will equate to an over. I'm just hoping that Tyler Hero ends up shedding his questionable tag because it would be nice to have his shot making out there for Miami.
Orlando currently sitting 5.5-point favorites in that one, a team that just lost to the San Antonio Spurs. If they've won 4 of their last 5 at this point, they're getting 4.5 today against a Cavs team that has been struggling. Total 238.5. What stood out to you?
I had a lean on the Cavaliers in that game, but I didn't end up taking anything for sides and totals. There's just a lot of players missing in that one. Hard to get a read on it. I believe it's Garland, Merrill, Allen all out for Cleveland. Still have Castle and Wemby out for San Antonio. What I do have in this game is Jalen Tyson over 13.5 points. I got that at minus 125. He scored 15 plus in all 5 of the games he's played this season without Sam Merrill and Darius Garland on the floor. He's played between 25 and 34 minutes in all 5 of those games. I just think that there's going to be a pretty big role for him with some of those backcourt players missing. And it is a pretty good matchup for him because Tyson can knock down open shots. This Spurs team is a bottom 5 team in the league when defending spot-up shooting. And Tyson's a guy that can also beat you in a couple of other ways. He's not just a shooter. He can score in transition. He can drive to the basket. I think that 14 plus is really reasonable and what should be a pretty high-scoring game.
Did you have a player prop on the other side as well?
No, I don't have anything for the Spurs. Nope.
Oh, okay. All right, let me ask you this then. Nickeil Alexander-Walker and the Atlanta Hawks. First off, I know you got something on NAW in terms of a side, or excuse me, in terms of a prop, but also how much of this is a showcase for the Hawks to prove to Giannis Antetokounmpo that they are the team that should land him here?
I'm actually going to write something up at vsin.com later, something very long on Giannis. So trying to hold off on talking about it. I didn't talk about it on Hardwood Handicappers this morning because I'm going to do something on next team odds, best fits, teams that I think that he can turn into a title contender. So
put the
if you're
Knicks
very
at the bottom of the list.
Knicks are at the bottom of the list because I don't think that they have the assets to get him. He can force his way there, but I do not think that they can get him just in a team for team trade. It's going to be very difficult. But yeah, Atlanta is definitely one of the teams that has the ability to get him. They have the assets and they also have the team, to put a really good team around him. Even if they don't, keep all of their players in that deal, they'll still have enough after to go out and contend in the Eastern Conference. They're going to contend in the Eastern Conference with the team they have now. But yeah, I do have Alexander Walker over 19.5 points tonight. I got that at minus 115. He's averaging 21.7 points per game without Trae Young this season. He's scored at least 20 points in all of the home games that he's played without Trae. And this is a Denver team that has struggled guarding pick and roll ball handlers, has struggled against spot up shooters. Alexander Walker is a player that can kind of beat you in both of those areas.
Well, I know you're avoiding talking about Giannis big picture, but what about tonight with him unavailable against the 76ers, Milwaukee at home, getting a point and a half, total 221.5, with him expected to miss the next couple weeks with that calf?
Yeah, I have Ryan Rollins over 26.5 points and assists in this game. This is something that I've been pretty consistently going to ever since Antetokounmpo has been injured, and it's something that he's been regularly hitting. I think he's averaging 31 or so points and assists in the games he's played without Giannis, and they do have Kevin Porter Jr. back. I'm a little bit nervous about that, kind of taking away some of the ball handling responsibilities that Rollins has had over the last couple of weeks. But at the same time, I do think this is going to be a game that's played at a high tempo. I think that there's going to be enough touches to go around in that backcourt for Rollins to just kind of get this done. And it's also another really strong matchup because the Sixers are not very good defending the point of attack. They're not good defending in transition. And Rollins, while he is a good three-point shooter, his bread and butter is getting to the basket, making plays in transition. He's very, very good at attacking downhill and getting to the rim.
All right, before we get you out of here, I think we have this now. We have empirical, undoubted evidence, if we could roll the footage here, of McDonald's being the ultimate late-night snack after a few drinks. Here we go. You can see it. Look at that massive chomp. We're going to assume that Stormy Buonantony, is not a full sound mind. This is proof you are wrong. Zach Cohen.
Oh.
Yeah, and she does look fine in the moment, but it's the next morning after where she's going to.
I think I look great.
Pro move to put a little ketchup on the bite before you chomp it down.
Yes, so I was going to say the poise and composure to handle the mini pack of ketchup on the bite by bite basis. I was pretty impressed with myself, Zach. It's good. It's good.
Yep. There's no video of the morning after. I don't think anyone wants to see. So I think that's
well played, sir. Zach, appreciate your time as always. You're the man. Thanks for this.
Thank you, guys.
Correlation is not causation, because the next day you're hungover. You don't know that the terrible feeling is because of either drinking or the McDonald's.
It's definitely the drinking. I'm just going to say, I'll say that. It's definitely the drinking. It's never the McDonald's. Reminder, if you haven't already, though, you absolutely have to check out Hardwood Handicappers. Zach's doing such a good job. And the articles each and every day. Right now, today's article already up, breaking down the NBA card, some additional plays, and more details on what Zach likes. We're going to step aside here on Money Moves. When we come back, this show has gone by fast on a Friday. We are wrapping things up with our best bets headed into the weekend. Don't go anywhere.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So I want to give you guys a little inside baseball here before we get to the best bets for a moment, because I have been slowly stewing, steaming, fuming, whatever word you want to use, at the outfit JVT is wearing today, because on
Scarlet and gray, baby.
Halloween, many of you may remember that I dressed up as my co-host for our show that day. This was the exact look I was going for, down to the shoes.
This is a charcoal coat, not a black one.
It can double as black. It's like very close to black. Even in the picture when I readjusted and did the side by side, it looks like it's the same color.
I don't think so. I think it's charcoal. We've had this conversation before about colors. I think you have issues with colors.
I'm just like, if you want to take my single shot here real quickly. Anybody? You want to zoom in on me?
Nobody can see that.
That looks the same.
That is
is you.
Who those want insight, every time I get a text from Stormy Buonantony, that's the picture that pops
Is it really?
Yeah.
This is what you made? My caller ID? Kill me. I call you and somebody's like, oh, who's that?
Yeah.
It's you. You're calling yourself.
They're like, wow, you know Rachel Maddow? And I'm like, I do.
That's another rude thing. He turned around in... Obviously, we have the gigantic screens behind us here at Circa Resort and Casino. And you go, oh, there you are. And I see a Circa commercial up. And I go, I'm not in that commercial. He goes, no, you're right there. And it was Rachel Maddow.
It's an MSNBC commercial.
That's so messed up. So wrong. On that note, okay, let's get to the best bets recap from yesterday before we look ahead to today and the weekend action we have. For me, at least, and we both team play on the Cowboys plus the points yesterday doesn't get home.
I never do that again.
I did also have the Cowboys team total over 25.5. We were able to cash that, and Jameson Williams' longest reception over 27.5 gets home. So 2-1 for me yesterday.
Our vibes are better when we're adversaries.
That's not true. We've had a lot of team plays on like San Diego State and random things along the way that have been good.
Yeah, that's true. 1-3 for me yesterday. Austin Reeves gives me at least a little bit of relief, but Cowboys no, Wizards no, Raptors no. Wizards, I mean, not even close. I blame the ugly gold uniforms and the Raptors. They come back. They were down by double digits, tied the game, but as we talked about, LeBron James with the game-winning assist didn't even have to sweat Austin Reeves. My man was cruising. I think at halftime he was sitting on 28 points and assists, and again tonight, a good opportunity. Was 36.5 yesterday, 40.5 today. That dude blows by those numbers when Luka's not there. So with that, you go ahead, go first. You got a lot.
I was just going to say, should we have cause for concern that we have a team play going into conference championship weekend as well on the Georgia Bulldogs?
Oh, no, because I lay 2 and you lay 2.5, so that offsets any of the negative juju.
Okay, good. So that's good to know. Just a half a point makes the difference.
Right.
And you did get the better of that number, but we are both rolling with the Bulldogs here. I mentioned earlier Jake Retzloff, 40-plus rush yards in the American Championship against North Texas. I think that it sets up really nicely. Retzloff hasn't had to run much the last couple weeks, hasn't had a single pop play in the last 3 weeks, yet he is an explosive runner when given the opportunity, and this North Texas run defense sets up for him to have some design runs going his way or a scramble situation where he gets some of those added yards. So 40-plus yards on the ground for him. It's plus 110 price. Meanwhile, I do think that Tulane's defense isn't going to be the best match for what North Texas can do offensively. They are the highest scoring offense in all of college football, and I took their team total for the game. Didn't have a good feel one way or another for the spread, but over 33.5 points for North Texas, who has done that darn near every game this season. I got a 13 on BYU. I was hoping to get 14, but this is the best available that I could get going into the weekend. I missed the 13.5. We've seen this number go all over the place, JVT, though, that even when I was walking into Circa this morning, BYU was down to 11.5. We're back at 12.5 here, but the 13 was the number I got, and I'm rolling with. I think that we get a different version of the Cougars in the conference title game for the Big 12 against Texas Tech this time around. There was just... it was a Murphy's Law game for BYU. I don't think they win this game, but I think it's much more competitive, even if it's just the little things like LJ Martin, who's so important for that offense, being full go, being available, because that's going to change the way that Aaron Roderick can call a game for his young quarterback. For Bear Bachmeier now to know what it's like to have adversity and to play in a big game, having that extra opportunity. I think they play much better in this spot. JMU, going to need to try to put the pedal to the metal against Troy. And anything else I'm missing here? Oh, and I added
you have a full
Virginia.
list right in front of you.
I went out of order. I added Virginia against Duke minus 3.5 as well in the ACC title game.
Why? Why are you petering out there? Why
I don't think Duke shouldn't be here. Okay, these two just played a few weeks ago, and it was a no-doubter from Virginia. This Duke defense, well, because you're making me sensitive.
What are you talking about?
This Duke defense.
It's your play. You're leaking confidence. Give it to us.
6 weeks ago, since they had their bye.
Yeah.
Game after game after game has gotten torched. The only game they didn't was against North Carolina. And is that an offense that you think is good or competitive or worthwhile? I don't think so. So I think Virginia handles business in what is an important game for them to make the college football playoff.
Okay, I like it. Did you rip off your teasers there too?
Oh, no, I didn't. God, I have so many bets. Gosh, what are we doing?
Generally on Friday, Stormy, we go in the list order that we put into the rundown here.
I gave this one out earlier this week. Same game teasy. Bringing the Packers down just to get the dub this week against the Bears and under 50.5 in what's going to be a weather-impacted game and defense in Green Bay. I think that's actually pretty well equipped to handle the Bears' run game. And considering Caleb Williams can't throw a ball efficiently, the Packers' pass defense is top 6 in the NFL. So that's the way I'm rolling with that. And then this is my fault for not paying attention. I was joking. I told you I was looking for teasers today. I did Seahawks and Broncos already in your account.
Yep.
So.
You asked me this morning, what do you think about this? And I was like, I actually didn't answer.
You're like, is that rhetorical?
I was like, that. It's in the doc. I already have it. All right, NFL, we'll start there. Packers minus 6.5 against the Chicago Bears. We'll give it one more shot. Bengals, not the best of the number, can grab 6. We'll grab 5.5 with the Bengals against the Buffalo Bills. That teaser that Stormy mentioned. Seahawks minus 1.5, Broncos minus 1.5, and the Chargers, as we talked about Monday. This is the first one of the week. That was my number grab. I was like, look, I think he's going to play. There was 3-10, minus 110 across the board. We'll do it. Boise State minus 4 in college football tonight against UNLV. That again, early in the week on about Tuesday. Georgia minus 2 over Alabama in the SEC championship game. And I agree with Mike Palm. I'm not afraid to say it anymore. Give me Ohio State minus 4 against the fighting Wes Reynolds in the Big Ten championship game this week.
Heisman Trophy stakes on the line in that one potentially as well. Fernando Mendoza is your favorite right now, plus 160. Diego Pavia, plus 180 from Vandy, but then Julian Say in there at 2-1. How much impact ultimately does this game have on that market to you?
I got to say, the winner wins, doesn't it?
It feels that way to me.
I don't think Pavia, again, it's one of those.
Unless it's like two absolute dud performances and Pavia elevates.
I just feel like it's kind of like the college football playoff. You know, like why would you move if you're idle? Kind of a deal.
Yeah.
And I think Pavia is behind these guys.
While we're comparing quarterbacks, you given any more thought to your Dylan Raiola argument?
I mean, you can't do this now in the last 2 minutes.
Why not?
Because I haven't thought about anything.
Why haven't you? I gave you 2 days to think about it.
You didn't give me a mandate at all. If at one point you had said, hey, come on Friday with some Dylan Raiola stuff, that I would have.
It was actually on Thursday that we were supposed to do it, and then I forgot about it. But we did say we were but we said we were going to do it Thursday, and we didn't do it. Yeah, well, so you got nothing for me. You have no argument.
We'll do it tomorrow.
So I think that means we'll do it on when we're not here.
Yeah. Well, your response is supposed to be, what is today but yesterday's tomorrow?
Who talks like that? Who would say that? Any response?
I have a little bit of news before we get out of here. It is official. As we've been on the air, the draw has been happening for the FIFA World Cup. So we do have the United States groups as well as all the other ones, but who cares about those? Got to say, some base knowledge here. So people can dispute this and argue with it, and I would not fight it at all. But would seem that the United States has gotten a somewhat favorable draw in the World Cup. They are in Group D. United States, Paraguay, Australia, and then the fourth team will be a winner of a playoff between, I believe, I don't know who it is, to Turkey, Slovakia. I can't really see who else, but it seems like a somewhat favorable draw for the United States in the World Cup coming up in 2026.
All right.
How about that? We excited?
Cool.
Ready? Going to go to some of the games?
Super excited.
Wow.
Probably not. But
for the other American teams that are automatically in, Canada has a playoff team in there as well, along with Qatar and Switzerland. And I believe that's Switzerland. And then Mexico gets South Africa, Korea, and also a playoff winner.
Real quickly, also on the way out, just to further cement our contest plays, officially official, our 5 ATS picks, the Vikings, Packers, Bengals, Broncos, and Ravens. Also, I haven't bet this yet, but should I? I know you like Ohio State minus the 4, but Indiana's team total is 20.5.
Sure.
That is
as long as you're betting that under.
Okay, so that's what you think now. Yeah, but does that feel low? I know Ohio State hasn't let anybody score that this season.
I have 4, so I hope they scored nothing.
Offense is better than they've seen all year.
You are, in the last 30 seconds, you're Las Vegas local. You have ties out here. It's a big
Boise State.
Yeah? I think so, too.
I just feel
Obviously, I laid it, but, I'm hoping it's the other way around.
I think Boise State wins by a touchdown at least.
God, a Boise State 3-point win would be my worst case scenario.
Oh, yeah. Can't win the bet. And I'm here. I'm sitting on my couch dressed in scarlet and gray. This is what you do for me.
This is exactly what I'm going to wear. I'm going to wear the coat all day.
Fun plans, or you need to watch Solo?
I'll probably watch Solo.
You're more than welcome to come on down.
It doesn't feel like a genuine invite.
Come on down. I've got Modelo in line with your name on it. That's a wrap for us today. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Good luck with your bets this weekend. Mitch and Pauly, Follow the Money coming up next.